others? And has that increased since you reinstated Alex?
I mean, at this point, reading the sort of legacy media is just depressing. I accidentally, once in a while, will go see like Google News or whatever, or Yahoo News or whatever, some random thing. And I'm like, this is just. I mean, frankly, the quality of the propaganda isn't even good. Look, if you're going to do propaganda, at least make it entertaining. And I find it's dull, boring. It's and just not even well written.
Well, that's right. They'll put out one thing and then they all parrot it. It's a
Yeah,
dog.
it's like lazy propaganda. It's like work harder.
We've got Andrew Tate here as well. Andrew, how are you? Andrew, your mic, is it working? You got to unmute bottom left corner.
Can you hear me?
We can, yeah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, friend. I'm in the middle of a poker game, but since this is the battle for humanity against the Satanists with its constant deception of the populace, I thought I would jump in and say hello to everybody.
Your thoughts, Andrew? We had your brother on earlier, Tristan come on earlier. Your thoughts on Alex Jones being back on X?
So I came across this video on the internet and I thought it would be a great thing if I share it with you guys. It is a video with some of the most popular conservative voices of all time. People like Andrew Tate, Alex Jones, Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk. And so they were talking about the issues facing our society, the censorship, the cancel culture, and how the government lie to the people. And when it comes to the issue on how much our governments lie to us, it's something that when you start thinking about it, it's like mind-blowing to you. Yeah, it's like you cannot believe how far our respective governments will go just to make sure we believe a lie they want to tell us, and how much they are willing to do just so we believe what they tell us. It doesn't matter if it is a lie or a truth. So let's listen to what they had to say, and from time to time, I will pause this video to give you my own take on what they were saying. Okay, so let's get on with it.
Alex's account should be working. And Alex, I honestly don't really know you, and you don't know me, but one of the questions I really have to just get out of the way, and you've probably talked about this already before, is the whole Sandy Hook thing. If somebody's sort of denying or that murders of children, that's not cool at all. And so just what exactly did you say, and what is going on with that situation? I would like to actually hear what did you say, and yeah.
Well, Elon, thank you for allowing me back into the public square so that I can actually tell the world what really happened. I don't know how much. Would you like the short answer or the medium answer or the long answer?
I think at least the medium answer. Look, I guess people just want to know, like, obviously it would be like heartless and cruel to deny a school shooting of children, or to attack the parents or anyone who is involved. It seems that would be, just incredibly mean and cruel, frankly. So it's sort of, that's, I think, what a lot of people are upset about, or at least they think that is the reason to be upset about. And, if that were true, I think they would rightly be, upset with you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Well, please let me then just tell you what really happened. Okay. And if you want me to send you a dossier with clips and videos and articles.
I mean, post it to your account,
Yes, sir. I will do that. So let me tell you what happened. I'm a guy that didn't go to college. I mean, a few years of community college. I started out on Access TV 29 years ago. I was not professionally trained. And by 2000, I had 30 million viewers and listeners a day conservatively. I was the biggest show, as big as Rogan is now or bigger. And I had a very small operation and did not even understand how powerful I was. And so when that event, I just call it the school shooting, which I do believe happened 11 years ago, the internet exploded, and it was the top story for off and on for years with all these professors and former school safety people and all of them saying they believed it was a drill. And I simply covered them covering that. What was entered in court against me in both cases where I was found guilty by judges. There's a judge in Trump's case, not even a jury, in his real estate case. And then years later, after Trump got elected and after I was deplatformed, it made me bigger. And so suddenly I would wake up and there would be sometimes 100 articles or more a day, every major news channel saying that I was currently saying nobody died, currently sending people to their houses.
So I think the first person to talk is Elon Musk. So let's hear what Elon Musk is going to say. And I just have to point out one thing, right? Remember, Elon Musk shared a post on X that supposedly was an anti-Jewish post. And he had so much backlash for doing that. Then all of a sudden, he went to Israel and met with Benjamin Netanyahu, and they became best friends with them. And right now, he is is like he has been reborn. His sins has been forgotten or has been forgiven, and he has now become a strong supporter of the Jewish cause. And he made a promise to censor more anti-Jewish propaganda on his platform X. So sometimes I wonder what side Elon Musk is, because from time to time he will flip-flop from one side to the other. But let's hear what he had to say.
Turn the knife. I didn't really think about it. I thought about how I was talking about the internet with YouTube videos with 30, 40 million views that I didn't make.
Sure.
It was a hot topic that would come back from time to time. But no, I was not the creator of it. I was not the progenitor of it. I was not the guy pushing it. And then I kept saying, no, I believe it happened. And they went, aha, you now admit you lied for money. So what's not true is I never made any money off of it. I barely ever covered it. It's not my identity. And it's just like they misrepresent what you say, take one little thing and twist it, and then say you need to apologize for it. And then they just keep hammering it and hammering it. So I've been desperately, I mean, in fact, I'll post it to X if you want. There's over 100 apologies that I've given, over 100. In fact, probably 500. Every show I go on, they ask this. I apologized on Joe Rogan's show 5 years ago. I apologized on Patrick Ben-David's show 5 years ago. I mean, these are prominent ones. I apologize on every show, and I'll say it again. I apologize that I just gave my commentary, because I'm really just a guy that talk radio host. So I do that on the internet. I just take calls, interview guests, and that I played devil's advocate. And if that hurt people's feelings, I apologize. But I did not send people to your houses. I did not pee on graves. I don't know any of the stuff that went on. And then when they had the trials, after I was found guilty, trials on damages, there was never any video of people peeing on graves, any video of people at houses. There was an FBI agent who was there that day at the tragic event in New Haven, Connecticut, with Sandy, well, I can say the name. He was there, and he didn't have an FBI vest on, and his gun was pointed the wrong direction, pointed upside down. The internet questioned him. When he got on the stand in Connecticut, my lawyer said, has Mr. Jones ever said your name? No. Has Mr. Jones ever put your picture on the internet? No. Have any of his hosts done it? No. Has InfoWars ever put your picture out or said your name? No. What happened to you, sir? One man, he said, called 8 years ago now and asked me if I was really an FBI agent. The jury gave him $94 million that doesn't exist. $94 million that never said his name. So I challenge people to find me say any of their names. I said one guy's name and I apologized to him on the stand. The thing had probably 100 million views on 5 or 6 different YouTube videos of him smiling and laughing before he walked to the mic. I played the clip one time and said, yeah, that looks like he's an actor. I did not attack him, did not come after him, did not say his child didn't die. Look, I don't want to fight with him, though. I said to them in a deposition, I said, I will chop my pinky finger off with a meat cleaver right now. And I will. If you'll just leave me alone and stop saying I made hundreds of millions of dollars off of you and stop saying I'm attacking you. So it's very simple. I have become, and I know what happened.
When it comes to Alex Jones and the Sandy Hook's whole thing, I think he did question it. I think he did say things that rally some support behind him. And there were a lot of questions as to if that was a stage act or not. And there were a lot of people questioning the whole thing. And I believe that Alex Jones saw an opportunity, saw people questioning that, and then he like, oh, maybe I can use it to my advantage. So he went overboard with it and said all what he had to say about it, which I think is a very, very bad thing to like joke over issues like that. And I think he deserved to be punished. But I just have to say that the way he was punished to me was all over, like it was above the roof. Like it was so severe. He was fined to pay a damage, I think, was it almost $1 billion or maybe 900 million in damages to the victims. I'm like, where is he gonna get that kind of money to pay first? And secondly, isn't that too much? Like, are you just trying to send a signal or make a statement? Or do you really think that Alex Jones can pay that amount of money? Like, how much is he actually worth to be able to pay almost $1 billion in damages? This is so severe. And like he said, he made a mistake. He is sorry about that, and he has apologized time and time again, which I do believe that he deserves to be forgiven. And the way they went after him was so severe. Like they were making an example out of him, if I can put it that way. It's the same thing happening with Donald Trump right now. It's the same thing. It's not like Donald Trump was a good person, if I may put it that way. It's not like the things he's been accused of, he didn't do some of them. He did them. But that is not the reason why they are going after him. That's not the reason. It's like in Africa, right? When someone is being arrested for corruption, when the governing party or the ruling party decided to target any person for quote-unquote corruption, know that it's not for corruption. When they are having their political differences, they now bring in corruption. Not that the people or the person who is being accused or arrested for corruption is not corrupt. That's not the point. They are all so corrupt, all of them. But corruption is not the reason for which that person is being accused or arrested. It's the same thing happening to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not being pursued because of what he said or he did. No. It was because of the way he did it and the political infighting in America. Because if people were to be arrested for what they say or they do in America, what about George Bush? Why is nobody talking anything about George Bush? We all know what George Bush did in Iraq and in Afghanistan, how he lied again and again and again, and he caused the death of plus or minus 1 million people in Iraq. Why is no one talking about it? Why is no one asking any question about it? George Bush and I think Dick Cheney, is it Colin Powell? They all cooked up this whole thing, and they invaded Iraq. Why is no one saying anything? Or what about Obama, who, under the banner of NATO, invaded Libya, bombed places in Syria and Yemen? Why is no one talking about it? Why is everyone so focused on Donald Trump? You see? So the point there is not about respecting the rule of law. The point is not about maintaining democracy. The point is not about he was undermining democracy. That's not even the point. That's beside the point. The point is he went against powerful people and they are making an example out of him. That is the point. So let's listen to the second speaker and let's hear what he had to say.
I just wanted to, share one thought in response to Ed's question, which is, let's take the content of whatever speech it was that's off the table, kids being shot in schools or otherwise. I think there's two kinds of ways to worry if you're worried about the spread of misinformation or false facts. One is let's deal with the content of the speech itself. And Elon talked about community notes as being imperfect, though it is maybe the best method out there on the internet. And I think that's one set of discussions to have. That's quite a different thing from what the law certainly looks at as the most draconian First Amendment violation, which is what it calls a prior restraint, which is to previously just restrain a person from speaking, period. And I think that is, no matter what the content of the speech is, it's quite a different thing to say that because of who you are or what you have said in the past, you may not say another thing in the future. And so I just think that those are two different concepts. And I just, for one, just wanted to share my experience of my Alex Jones experience, if I may.
That is perfectly said.
Yeah.
That's because you don't cut somebody's tongue out,
Yeah.
even if I did bad things in the past. And I certainly wasn't
but
perfect.
you know what? But if people say false things, they deserve to have the consequences for that particular speech aired out in the marketplace of opinions. And community notes is one feature of doing that. And I think that's a legitimate discussion to have. But the idea, first of all, let's just make the observation that if somebody has once said a bad thing, then they'd be restrained from speaking. Most people who have been in a position of prominence in the U.S. federal government would not be allowed to speak again in other forums if that was the standard we were applying. Right. I mean, you think about anybody who's been in the CIA or the FBI in a position of saying that the Hunter Biden laptop story was false or COVID didn't start in a lab in China. So we could go down that whole rabbit hole. But,
Well, yeah. I mean, as Alex said earlier, I mean, and this is,
Exactly. I think Vivek put it very clearly, yeah. And that's true. That's true. If everyone was to be limited, was to be censored, or was to be cancelled because they said one thing that people find it to be offensive, then I don't think anyone will be allowed to talk anymore. There's something going on right now that I think that most people are not paying attention to. And I think that it's something we should be looking very, very clearly. The so-called anti-Semitism around the world and the hate for the Jewish people, it's something that we should be paying attention to. Because on one hand, the Israeli authorities are out there bombarding Gaza, are out there making the conditions for the people in Gaza very, very difficult, are out there making sure that Gazians are being subjected into very, very deplorable situations, making the lives of the people in Gaza way more difficult than any of us would accept. A couple of days ago, there were images showing how local Gazians are being arrested or rounded up, stripped to their underwear, and then blindfolded. There were images out there. And I was like, if you subject people like this, how do you even expect them to like you? And on the other hand, the Israelis are complaining how there is so much hate against them all over the world, how people hate them for no good reason. And my point is, you can make anything look like a hate speech if you wanted it to be that way. You can make anything look offensive if you wanted it to be that way. Someone can ask a legitimate question about something very important, and then you can decide to deflect from that question by just screaming hate speech, anti-Semitism, and people will be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We all understand how devastating the Holocaust was. We all understand that the Jewish people have gone through a lot. And we all understand some of the pain and suffering they went through in the hands of the Nazis. But that doesn't mean that people cannot criticize them if they are doing something that people thought was wrong. That doesn't mean that they have the go-ahead to do things the way they want and no one can criticize them. That doesn't mean that. In as much as we would sympathize with them, in as much as the world sympathizes with them, we still have to ask them question if they did something that was incorrect, if they did something that warrant questioning, if they did something that people thought was too much and deserved to be criticized. We have to criticize them. And if you did that, and then people start saying, or the Israelis government or some of their supporters start screaming anti-Semitism, I find that so hypocritical. Start calling you an anti-Semitic. Start looking for a way to stop you from talking. Is that the kind of society we really want to be living in? Is that the kind of society we are really building for ourselves? Is that the way we really want to move ahead? I mean, come on. We will hope that people be fair. We will hope that if someone does something, that thing is being looked upon critically, not just observed and then concluded. No. It should be looked way more deeper, and everything depends on context. Everything depends on context. I watched a video where the president of one of the best universities in America, I think that was, is it MIT, Harvard, and one other university, is it Penn, something like that. They were questioned by a member of Congress about the call for a Jewish genocide on campus. And the answer they gave was like, if we saw people being targeted, if we saw the call for genocide being targeted or being put upon a particular person, then we have the right to react. And you know what happened? Everything went out of control. And before you know it, people from the Jewish community start calling for the resignation of the presidents of those universities. Is that not cancel culture? Isn't the same thing that we are all talking against or fighting against, that people should not be canceled for speaking out their minds? That it's better for us to have more views than just fewer views? That it's better for our society is way more better if we can agree to disagree, if we can criticize each other, than just having a society where everyone just go along with a particular narrative. You can see those university presidents are now being cancelled. Some of them have been forced to issue an apology, to change their stance, to say they didn't know what was really going on. And let me just say one thing. If you are someone, and I think this has been proven, if you said something, stand on it. If before you say something, make sure you are real convinced, you have a clear conviction of what you are talking about. Be clear, and it should be backed with a lot of facts. And when you do that, stay on it. Do not backtrack, because the worst of all people are those who backtrack due to pressure. The worst of all human beings are those who cave in due to external pressure. Before you make a stand, before you take a you make a point, before you take a stand, be sure about the stand you are taking and be ready to defend it any day, anytime. When you backtrack, when you cave in, you lose all credibility, and no one can ever take you seriously. We have seen this with corporations. We have seen this with individuals. When you cave in, that's all for you. Because when you take point A, or when you stand on a certain thing, there are people who will back you and there are people who will lash out at you. And when you backtrack, those people who lash out at you won't support you. And those who were standing with you will drop you. And at the end of the day, you will be alone. So it's better for you to not take a stand in the first place. But if you do that, stand by it. Do not, for whatsoever the reason, backtrack. Because when you do that, you became a loser and you will lost everything. No one is going to stand by you. Because the worst person in the world are those who cannot stand by what they mean. Those are the worst people. But let's listen to the third speaker on this X space. I think that was Andrew Tate. He is also very popular, very controversial. And before we get into him, I just have to say this. I love him. I like hearing what he has to say, even though sometimes I don't necessarily agree with what he was saying. But nevertheless, I have come to learn that it's always better to have more knowledge than little knowledge. So let's listen to what Andrew Tate had to say.
I'd rather hear his thoughts on Elon Musk being the biggest maverick of the last 500 years. I'm not kissing ass here, Elon. You've got big ones, man, on every front. You are literally overturning the entire power structure. I was just going to say this and let Andrew get in, but I just want to say this while you're here. You are literally changing the entire paradigm, and you've definitely got the system scared. And so everybody needs to support X. Everybody needs to support the sponsors on X. I personally am doing all my Christmas shopping this year with all the great gadgets and stuff that are on X. But I'm going to shut up now. But I would imagine instead of talking about Alex Jones, I'd like to hear Andrew Tate talk about or ask questions to Elon Musk.
Yeah, well, Alex is certainly a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, and I'm extremely happy he's back. I've celebrated that publicly, but Alex nailed it. Elon is taking the biggest risk here. It takes unlimited energy to propagate lies. You have to continually repeat them, and you have to continue to try and falsify information and hide the truth to keep lies afloat. And this simple purchase, you call it simple, the purchase of a simple website has literally cracked the matrix in real time, and it becomes extremely difficult now to run the psyops they were previously running and enslave the populace, which is their primary goal. So Elon is a hero, absolutely. And the risks you are taking, Elon, I don't think many people at home actually understand the gravity of the risks you are taking, because your ability to speak freely is heavily leveraged against your insignificance. You're only allowed to speak if nobody listens to you. And if you get big and people start listening, they're going to come at you hard. And I think I'm not completely versed, but from what I understand, Elon's already suffering the lawfare tactics, which they're going to do. They're going to keep pulling out the hat to try and slow him down. Or
Andrew, let me interrupt before I forget. I don't give him any attention. The same law firm that came after me with these PR firms.
You've just dropped out, I think, Alex.
Just dropped out?
Anyone else can? Yeah, I think he got a call. No, he got a call. Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
There is a 3-letter agency running this. Not all of them, but let's just say it starts with a C and it ends with an A. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's liberal NGOs which will sponsor agents of the Matrix. They'll sponsor females to end up in a house party and then lie to try and then put you in a Romanian jail cell and get you sitting with the cockroaches in a dungeon. And it's a very scary world where you get to a point where you're only trying to tell the truth, and they're going to punish you for that using endless lawfare. And this battle has only just begun. But the Matrix has truly cracked now, and it's going to be extremely hard to lie to us like they did before with X, the way it currently is. And I think it came at exactly the right time. I almost, without trying to sound pessimistic, there was a point where I kind of felt like I was losing hope. You couldn't tell the truth about anything. Everything was a lie. Everything from head to toe was a lie. And they're trying to lock us all back in our houses again, and we can finally talk about it. It's truly heroic. And Elon's taking massive risk, and the respect I have for him for doing that is enormous.
I have to say, Alex Jones is really, is it sucking ass they call it, or is it licking ass they call it? Pardon my language. But he's just being so submissive right now, and so being super grateful to Elon Musk for bringing him back to the platform, which I have to say is a great thing. I don't think that censoring anybody or canceling anybody is the right way to go. I don't think so. I think we will all be better and safe if we do not work on X-Share, because they have made the whole thing so fragile in such a way that you cannot really say anything anymore. You cannot even criticize anything anymore. You see something going wrong, you cannot say it. This is wrong, you cannot say it. I would rather love us to have a society where we can all argue with each other. We can all have different views, different opinions, and we can all put our opinions out there and let the world decide on which opinion they would absorb and which one they would just throw out the window. I would love that. To live in a society where you cannot say anything, where it's like you're walking on eggshell, is such a very destructive way of living. I am saying this as someone who is from Africa, where our freedom of speech has really been curtailed. Like, we cannot say anything anymore. You cannot do that. And I have seen how this has destroyed our society. It has made us become dummy, mumu. We cannot say anything. And some of us who have very interesting ideas and opinions and suggestions cannot even put it out there because no one will listen to us, or no one will be willing to listen to us, or no one even care to digest what we were saying. All they care is shut them up, shut them up, shut them up. Don't let them say anything. Shut them up. That's all what they care about. And our society has become zero. Poverty, lack of development, lack of unemployment, embezzlement, bribing. It is horrible. And coming back to what Andrew Tate said here, I have to give him 100% score for what he said. If you are someone who is very influential, someone whom people listen to, they will cancel you. They will silence you. The only people who can say whatever they want to say are those people that no one listens to. They're like just Joe at the corner of the street that no one cares about, no one listens to, and they just go about their lives. Those people are free to say whatever they want to say. But if you're someone that people followed, someone that people listen to, someone people look as like an exemplary figure, they will come after you. They will silence you. They will censor you. It's rather unfortunate, but that's just the case. And we shouldn't be living like that. We shouldn't be doing that. And before I go, let me just make one simple remark about this video. I believe that Elon Musk, even though he is being credited for some of the things he has done, and therefore bringing some of the people who were banned from Twitter back in, I just think that he is not a free speech advocate. He is just his own speech. Yeah, he is just pro his own speech, or pro the type of speech that he wants or he likes or felt like they are aligned with his objective. Just that. He is not like a free speech advocate across the board, like we see some of these free speech NGOs talking about free speech all over the world. He's not like that. He's just free speech in his own way. So he's not like a free speech absolute. No. It's not like that. Most of the conservatives are not pro free speech. I have seen them talk about canceling. The thing with humans as a whole, let me put it that way, is that when something is in our favor, we kind of like go along with it. When that thing is against us or doesn't favor us, then we kind of like criticize it. That is how we humans are. Same with Elon Musk. Same with Vivek. Same with Alex Jones. And even same with Andrew Tate. That doesn't mean that they do not have some good qualities. That does not mean that they are not things they bring to the table. That's not my point. My point is they all have things they go along with and things they criticize. That's just it. But to you guys out there, let me hear your take on this video in the comment section below. And also, do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow, subscribe to this channel because that helps us a lot. And we shall forever be grateful to you.